A Moment with Tyranny podcast. This episode and conversation is powered by Homes with Tyranny. Hey, everyone. It's me again with a Moment with Tyranny podcast. Thank you for joining us. And today we have a real interesting topic, kind of debatable, but I think it'll be something very interesting and fun to talk about. So I have a guest with us today, and let me just go on and let you know, go ahead and sign up for my podcast if you hadn't. YouTube, you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, iHeart. I'm on all of those. So go ahead and sign up. But just not to wait, and let's get into this Moment with Tyranny podcast. Our topic today is UFOs. Are aliens living among us? So go ahead, guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. My name is Steven Espinoza. I am the son of Tyranny Espinoza.
Yes, thank you. So this is going to be a good topic. So we get to kind of go back and forth on it. We've had these conversations before. So let's just jump right on in there, Stephen. UFOs, we've been seeing a lot of things on the news. We've been seeing for years, we've talked about it, but here recently, now that everyone has their cameras and everything, seems like we're doing more sightings and stuff. So do you believe UFOs and aliens exist? So let's just kind of go into that.
All right. So I'm a pretty big conspiracy theorist, I would say. I always, I don't believe like what the media or what the masses say particularly. Um, and aliens, like, so I did some research, and there's just one guy, basically he's like, I don't know, I'm gonna say like the head of like a church, like, people like of this church, and he ended up like drawing a picture of like an angel that he quote unquote saw, and it looked like what we call an alien, right? And so when we say the term alien, like, are we thinking like a Martian, like a green guy or something like that, or is alien just something that's foreign to us that we just don't know, something that's just not native to like our area? And so, just kind of like being, like I said, the conspiracy theorist that I am, I just kind of did some digging around, and I started looking into like fallen angels and like different like creatures. Like, you look at the Egyptian pyramids and things like that. They have like these giant like humanoid figures or whatever, and then they have little people drawn into the walls, and they have these people like a crow head and a human body and stuff like that. And so thinking like, are those aliens, quote unquote, and they were already here? Or are they like fallen spirit, like fallen angels? And we're gonna say fallen angels because, when you talk about like, you get into like, biblical things in the Bible, says that the devil's cast down with his followers here on earth. And
Mhm.
then you can start looking at different like chapters in the Bible. It says that like, people are walking to the land of the wicked and stuff like that, where you have like people worshiping idols. Or like, who were those idols? Like, what were those idols? Like, it, getting in more of a deeper rabbit hole. Like, are those idols the people that we see on those pyramids? Like, are those the idols that the Bible's talking about? Like, that's like all like what if type thing. But um sorry to get on. I know you asked me, do I believe in aliens? Now I'm on a whole like tangent of talking about stuff, but
So are you
uh,
are you saying that you believe that maybe some of those drawings and things that are depicted in the Bible and in the ancient ruins are maybe pictures of true aliens and not so much of something that's strange? Maybe aliens were here before we were here. Is that something that you believe?
yeah, I'm gonna say that an alien in general is probably just another type of like figure, like a
Mhm,
humanoid or so,
mhm.
that could possibly have been here before like humans. Now, I mean, maybe they have spaceships and cars like that, and that's just like the future. But do I think they're just like
Among us?
among us? Yeah, I do think they're among us. You know, I think that. So in the Bible, you have the flood of Noah and stuff like that, right? And supposedly that was going to wipe out like, um, you know, I guess like kill everybody except for Noah and his family, um, or get rid of all the. You can reiterate the story, but I guess yeah, basically. So the Great Flood, is what I'm trying to say, is essentially the Great Flood that happened. What if um, not everybody died? Like, what if there were some creatures that survived, and they just had to kind of live secretly, or they'll be killed, right? And then like, what if somehow they start breeding with humans and figure out different things, and now they have what everybody's talking about, like lizard people around. So yeah, I think they're among us for sure. I think there's things that we don't know, um, but we don't know what we don't research. So I feel like there's a lot of things out there that kind of correlate. Like, hey, you can probably prove this, right? But
So,
um,
so let me just kind of go and jump in, and with this whole climate warming and everything that's happening, we are seeing more and more ancient, just to kind of go off of what you're saying, different looking species that are washing up on beaches now that look very alien. They may have had it sometimes, and I do believe that maybe even through biology and research and splicing, I think we may create things, and how we dispose of them, who knows. But aliens, as far as I'm thinking, as far as alien and a higher intellect and things like that, I think that we're in a very big universe. And I think that it's crazy for us to think in this entire universe that we are the only uh mankind or kind, let me say that, or species, or I think that it's crazy for us to think in this huge universe that we're the only ones that are out here taking up this space. We have all kind of planets and solar systems and things that are out here, and every day as technology grows with us, we're learning now that what we thought was a star is actually a planet. What we thought is a planet is actually something else. So technology is opening up our eyes to a lot of things, and maybe we are the ones that are behind time, and there is another intellectual being that's out here that's smarter than we are. Maybe they've been watching us and seeing what's going on with us. So do I believe that there is aliens, if we want to call it aliens, or another type of uh, living uh species, entity, or something? Yeah, I do, because we're seeing a lot of things now where it's not explained. And then if you notice recently here, and again, I'm just me talking in my experience and watching TV and stuff, it seems like our government now is being a little more open with releasing things that aircrafts have been saying, hey, we saw this. Now they're able to kind of identify more things now. So yeah, I mean, think about it. Why would we think that we're the only people, or we're the only mankind, or creation of God that's out here in the universe?
so question, how on the news they've been showing like UFOs flying in the sky and things like that.
Hmm.
What do you think? Like, what do you think's inside those spaceships?
I
If you
think
could, if you could like make an image of what you think, what do you think that? Who do you think is flying that ship?
I think and honestly, on that, I really don't know. I think that it's not a coincidence that people that think that they have seen aliens, that they all kind of have some type of similarity to each other. I'm thinking that it's something along those terms, because there's people that totally believe what they see and what they've seen. But I think that I don't know. I think that it's something that maybe not quite formed like we are, but I think that there's the same image. Their necks may be longer, their necks may be shorter, but I think that the body image is probably the same. You know what I'm saying? When I say that, I mean they have a head, they have hands, they have arms, they have everything. Now, are there digits and everything exactly like ours? I don't know, but I do think that there is another type of form that's out there. Um, are they smart enough to walk amongst us? I think that if they've studied us long enough that they can. I mean, look at these bodysuits and stuff that people are wearing now. You know what I'm saying? They look like people until you get really on top of them. Look at these robots that they're creating that's serving people, and they're talking and they're blinking their eyes. Those things look human, you know? So where are those ideas coming from? You know,
Right.
who said that it's not a alien and something like that, you know? I'm
Just
like,
releasing a little bit of technology, little bit at a time, so we don't get too overwhelmed.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
What if like the ancient Egyptian time, like they got too advanced and then they got too, they're like, okay, we can't have this happen again. So we'll just give a little bit of technology here and there, start population all over again.
Hmm.
Because like, these cities that were here way before us, like what were they doing? Like were they just regular people like us? Just casually, like, we thinking about they didn't have any technology, it was all caveman. But you look at the pyramids and how they're built and how they're just like almost a one single block is probably the size of a house. Like, were they really lifting up with just a whole bunch of ropes and some pulley and levers and things like that? Like, I
But you
don't
do
know. And they're
realize pyramids are huge, and we're only seeing the top of a pyramid. There's a hole beneath the ground of a pyramid. And people don't realize
Mhm.
that until, again, they do their research. But pyramids are way underground. It's just not the very tip top that you see. There's a whole lot of construction beneath the ground on pyramids. And you're right. You know, what happened? What if we started trying to be a little too smart for our own good, and God flooded things? There's a lot of underwater cities and things, you know, that got flooded and never came back. And now as water is receding, uh, they're starting to find a lot of these things, ancient ruins, things like that, you know. So what if, I'm like you, what if you know how we're trying to now go and check out new planets and see if we can go and visit those and live on it? What if Earth was one of those planets and they did that and we moved to Earth because we destroyed another planet? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, never know. And I was also thinking, how you see like a sarcophagus, like the mummies are in there, like Pharaoh, he's in like the golden sarcophagus and all that stuff, right? It's like made of
Hmm.
pure gold and all that. Like, if they didn't have technology, how did they make that so detailed? Like, I don't think you can do that with a hammer and chisel and just make a perfectly nice face like how they do. I mean, maybe you could, but I don't know. In pure gold, the way it is, like, there had to be some type of technology, laser or something like that.
And how long
So I
would
don't know.
it take to do it with your hands? So back to the original thing is aliens, UFOs. Do we believe in them, and do we believe we're walking amongst them? Uh, you think that you could be like sitting in a restaurant and you think that maybe there's an alien that's sitting next to you? I mean, you know, what's your thought on that?
Fun fact: Will Smith made this comment that he took his son to meet the president, and Jaden Smith asked the president Obama about aliens, and he goes, "I can't tell you about it, but just know that like I saw stuff." Something like he said he had a very vague answer,
Mhm.
and Will Smith had went to the. I guess Will Smith had went there previously, and he asked like a similar question when he was younger. Um, and I forget who was the president at the time, but basically Will Smith said that he started making movies to tell the human world, what he heard from the president. So that's why he had like Man in Black and Independence Day, because he's like, hey, there's aliens here. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll
And,
say it's a good 80%.
and here's the other thing. We talk about movies. Have you noticed all the movies all kind of depict the same kind of thing? But also think about our movies that we've seen, Man in Black, I Robot, all that stuff. They had I Robot come out what, how many years ago? 10, 15 years ago. And today we have robots looking like the movie. So, you know, sometimes you stop and think, it's like, where did these ideas come from? And then now we actually 10 and 15, 20 years later, we're doing what was on TV, you know? Think about the Jetsons. You know, that's an old cartoon you probably don't even know about. But,
Mhm.
you know, we're getting to that kind of lifestyle, you know? So it goes back to, you say, who says we're not repeating time,
Right?
right?
The Jetsons had video call
Yeah,
back in the 80s, and phones with videos weren't even invented yet.
exactly. Exactly. Flying cars, living up in and these little space houses and stuff. We're getting to that now. They're building that in different cities. It looks like it looks very space, Jetsonsy. We'll call it the Jetsons. But yeah, that's what happened. So, who says we're not repeating ourselves? I mean, repeating things over. Who says that aliens are not here? And I always say, you know what? There's no way in this big universe it can just be us. No way. Look at God's creations as far as dragonflies and flies and all kind of insects and animals and things like that. You know, you got to stop and think about those kind of things. You know, we have a lot of what do you call it, conspiracy theories and stuff that goes on, but is there truth to that? And you have to stop and start thinking, if so many people are seeing this, how can it not be true? Right? Hello?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
So, all right. So give the audience something to talk about. Like, what is it? What is your takeaway from this? What is it you think? You think that yes, we can, and yes, we don't. Give me a takeaway for our audience.
I would say definitely, do your own research on everything. Everybody have you form your own opinion and just look at facts. Look at things that are like in history, textbooks, stuff that you can actually physically see. There's a lot of things out here, like fake news, and you can get caught up in like a whole rabbit hole of being like a conspiracy theorist and stuff like that. But um, definitely look at the Emerald Tablets. Try to find the Book of Enoch, um, and then just kind of do your research on that, and then see
Mhm.
how much that correlates to like things that you're like kind of taught every day and things that you think are the norm. It's kind of crazy like how these are two separate books written at two separate times, but very similar. And what we do every day, like I'm not saying like the Bible is like that or anything, but um, it has very similar stories as the Bible. So it kind of makes you just think like, like what's real and like what are we being kept from? But yeah, no, do your research. Um, and maybe you'll believe in aliens too.
Yeah. So everybody knows that every time I do a podcast, I end my podcast with a quote. So here's my quote for today. I believe in aliens. I think it would be way too selfish for us as mankind to believe we are the only life form in the universe. And I'll say that one more time. I believe in aliens. I think it would be way too selfish of us as mankind to believe we are the only life forms in the universe. So that's where I kind of stand on that too. Thank you so much, Stephen, for joining me with a moment with tyranny and just throwing a little conversation out, making someone kind of think like, could we be walking with aliens amongst us? And I really appreciate that. Again, if you are not following me, please follow me. Our podcast is powered by my real estate, which is Homes with Tyranny as well. And Stephen, thank you again for giving us your
Yeah, no
feedback and
problem.
join me. And I look forward to another conversation with you soon.
Definitely
Thank,
had a good time.
thank you. Bye bye.